Alright, folks, we are back. We are back, and you can see that I didn't do nearly as much as I probably should have before this mission, but I did change up our weapons a little bit. We're going to see that. I actually had ground out a couple more levels, done a few quests, getting their S ranks off camera, and I got a few technique discs. And then my game crashed, so I lost all that data because it wasn't saved. You get special technique discs from each character if you S-rank a mission with them sometimes, although again, it's complete RNG as far as I can tell. So that gravity strike ability that I showed a reference to last time, we got that from S-ranking a mission with Hyuga in the party. There's one for everybody. Dizos, which we got last time, is from Maya, so I guess good thing that we don't have to worry about her too much anymore. Unfortunately, we did not get one from Karen, so we are almost locked out of that. The only way to really get it is through Chapter 12, but I think you can replay that after the game is beaten. So again, there may be an extra stream of this afterwards where I just show off a bunch of shit that I haven't shown in the main playthrough. It's very unfortunate that we did not get those moves, or rather did not get to keep them, because one of them is for the large two-handed swords that we have barely used, and the other one is for the single dagger, which I have never been able to show off. And it would mean we wouldn't have to buy those, and also that we'd have some pretty unique moves going on, so that could be pretty cool. Unfortunately, no such luck. Let's get into the story here of Chapter 9.
もうすぐ目的地だ。
何かが迫ってきています。
ああ、何にも見えねえぜ。暑さのせいで行かれちまったんじゃねえのか。
Oh wow, who would have guessed that the robot can track things better than us? And oh wow, who would have guessed? Stealth technology exists. Oh. Looks like they're covering us. Wow. Unfortunately, we still got shot in like the most unfortunate place possible, so rip us. Crash land in the middle of the desert. Time to begin our search, I guess. Nope. At least nobody can take the blame for that one. That's not our fault. Oh, you think maybe Tylor's not our ally? It's hard to say for sure. Get a load of this! Oh, wait. That's the wrong Sonic Team game. I'm sorry. Don't cross the streams. Oh, I forgot to use the cube. I am a Dumbo. Anyway, check this out. I decided to grab us a short staff, so you can see we got our ability to throw dark orbs here with Megid, and we've got a healing spell in Resta. And over on our offhand, we are carrying our little machine gun here with Rising Fury. We have some light element damage on our side. That's going to come in handy later on, possibly sooner rather than later, who knows. Well, sir, you didn't give me the bug net, so this might be a little bit rough. Oh, no, they just let us walk up to them. Also, they have really adorable faces. They're like ostrich dolphins. And they probably don't recognize him because apparently Tonio knows this place pretty well, so. Mate, you gotta jump! Come on. Alright, what's up with this? Oh, yeah, that's helpful. Alright, so what do you got? Yeah. Ah, okay, so it's got like a fire breath attack. It's activated just by hitting our down button here. And it's pretty easy to control. This doesn't seem to be too bad so far, although again, I kind of wish that the gas meter was... gas meter. Like it's actually a car and not just a temporary replacement for one. Oh, there's no item there? Okay. So I think we're going to try to avoid the enemies here. I assume that there's actually a reward you can get for killing everything, but I'd rather not get into that. That just seems like it would be a little bit clumsy, because while this controls fine, the attack is not super good, and aiming it does seem to be a little bit crusty. It does not seem to be the best aiming thing in the world for fighting anything. It sure didn't look to me like it had auto-lock, so... You know, what limited amount there is while we're on foot seems to work just fine. So let's just book it and see if we can't... do a little more interesting stuff in the main meat of the level. Where it'll just be us, and there will be no low-budget chocobo involved. Place to go? No, it's a rock wall. I mean, honestly, this music even reminds me of, like, a low-rent version of the Chocobo theme. Just being played on circus instruments. Okay, circus instruments might be going a little too far, but also... it is not exactly the highest quality thing anybody's ever exposed me to. Words. They're hard. Yeah, what's up? That's all good. We can walk through this. It'll be easier to fight on foot too, as I've just gotten through. Bye! So much for our boost to Choco Meteor. And yeah, we're supposed to kill the enemies in order to get an S rank, but I just did not want any of that. Hooray! Our class is level 7. I think we can get the Hunter class to level 10 at most. Save. And in we go, everybody. Yeah, see, these dudes are starting at level 40. That could potentially be a cause for us getting our butts handed to us later on. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, see, they're only at like 600 HP, which, you know, sounds real silly to be like, oh, it's only 600 HP, but truth be told, that's not a ton. We can chip them down pretty easily from a distance if things are set up properly. We can also just kind of tear them apart pretty easily with our better damaging stuff. This is interesting looking. Trapped crates? Eventually, yes they are. Alright, so these Naval enemies. Well, I was intending to use Rising Fury there. You can see that this is doing damage at a decent rate when it hits. Which is a bit of a problem, because, you know, hit rate. Unsurprisingly, the machine guns are not really designed to hit very often. And they don't give a ton of attack boost by themselves, so... Again, perhaps completely unsurprisingly, that kind of hampers them a little bit unless your stats are good. Again, just like how it was in the original PSO, where they were absolutely the sick nastiness when you were on a really high level, like Q-cast or something. If you had them and you had max attack accuracy and or various other parts that would help you get there. But without, they can be kind of a pain in the butt to use. That said, I did say I was going to show things off, and we will probably put them to more use later on if we decide to be like, hey, yeah, I'm going to show off all this other stuff that I haven't been able to show you yet. Because I like the idea of doing that. I like the idea of being the sort of person who just shows off everything. Let's use a Diamate for the tiny amount of HP that it'll recover us. Very nice. No drop? No drop. Well, that's a shame. And yeah, it's a real shame that we did not remember to use the cube, because now my rifle doesn't have, like, any shots left. I fucked it big time, didn't I? Oh, well, I'm sure it'll work out eventually. Oh, we are currently missing a key, so we're gonna have to go this way, I guess? Okay, yeah, this is turning out to be a little simpler than I thought it was for a second, because that did have me a little bit worried that I had done something really wrong. Or maybe the game was bugging out, who can say? Who can say where the road goes, etc. Leo? Okay. He's fine, I think. Oh, ye gods. Anyway, this thing is ideal to be torn up with Tornado Dance. I mean, look at how fast we just eliminated that thing because of the multiple hitboxes. Good times being had by a few people at least. Oh yeah, that's right. The 3DS and Wii U shops are closing in like March or something of next year. I forget the exact date, which you can tell that I've lost the ability to perceive what time is. I looked at that and I'm like, oh, that's over 2 years from now. Which, first of all, no, it's 2022. I should know this by now. And second of all, it doesn't really matter when it is, because the only way you're going to be able to get those things after that point is through piracy. And this is not even counting the fact that those... if you want to buy anything legally, you have to put funds onto your account for use with those by, like, May or something. It's a deadline that's coming up very, very soon. And then there's another one in August that will further restrict how the eShop and everything can be used. But, you know, at least Nintendo is gonna let people who don't own the Mario Kart 8 DLC pack when that comes out race on those tracks online. Which I was willing to give them some praise for that, because that is kind of nice for a game company, and then that shit happened. And it ends up reminding me once again about the fact that Nintendo fans, out of all the console fans, you know, of the loyalists anyway, Nintendo loyalists are the most fucking whipped people in the entire video game, you know, fan base. Like, come on, how are you gonna stand this fucking company? Are you kidding me? Are you goddamn kidding me? You know, I apologize for anything bad that I've said about CD Projekt Red stands, because never fucking mind. Nintendo hates their customers so much. So goddamn much. And they hate the things they create too, which makes it even worse, because they are doing nothing really of any use for any sort of video game preservation stuff. And I understand up to a point anything that's, you know, contract related. It's fucking Nintendo! They probably have more money than everyone who has ever viewed my stream combined will see in their collective lives 10 times over right now. They can fix this easily. And they wouldn't have to pass the costs on to the consumer for an extra $30 for the most shitty, narrow selection of Sega games that anyone has ever seen. You know, back when I was a kid and the only things that I had access to were Sonic and a Jurassic Park licensed game and Battletech and, like, Vector Man, I still had it better than people who bought the expansion pack do. At least I had fucking Battletech, you know? Actually, I remember that Battletech game for Genesis being kind of shit. Don't at me. I haven't played it in about 25 years, but I remember it being pretty bad. Anyway, yeah, that is what I heard, is that Sega is a very big problem when it comes to NSO Plus pricing because they are apparently making Nintendo go, hey, you owe us a lot of money so that way you can have Sonic 2 and Streets of Rage 2, which you can buy for $1 each on Steam right now. In fact, you can buy, I'm pretty sure, even right now, even not on sale, you can buy the entire Sega Genesis Mega Drive Classics collection on Steam as individual games yet, not even being clever and using bundles, for less than it costs to upgrade to NSO Plus for a year. Which, I'm putting that out there specifically to emphasize the fact that it is buck fucking wild to me that Sega is charging as much as they do. That they're trying to fleece Nintendo that badly for things that they themselves are offering on, arguably on something that you can work with a little more easily. And for cheaper overall. So, and that would be to own them forever, by the way. Not, it expires in a year because you decided that you don't play Pokemon online enough to justify paying $50 a year. Anyway, yeah, so that is absolutely a thing, and it is fucking weird. So, there's a lot of other things that are just absolutely missing from the Switch Online library on all of the available consoles, not just the Genesis and N64, which, to be fair, when they first come out, I would expect those to be a little bit narrower, and, we're not even going to talk about the emulation issues, because, whatever, Nintendo fucking that up. Wow, whomst would have considered? But there are, for example, a very large amount of RPGs from the Super Nintendo era that are simply not available right now on Switch Online. And granted, a lot of those are Square Enix titles, yes, and with regard to at least the Final Fantasy series, Square Enix is, they're probably pushing their pixel remasters for the first 6 games, so I sort of understand it, again, from the business perspective, which is why it's weird to see that is not a consistent thing across all companies. But I digress. Again, this joke is about the fact that Wild Guns is available on Nintendo Switch Online. Again, which is basically, a free service that you get with your ability to trade Pokemon. And you can buy Wild Guns Reloaded separately for like $30. But yes, Super Mario RPG is a big one that's missing. There are a lot of other SNES RPGs from Square that are not currently part of that Pixel Remaster package that are currently not for sale. That's the wrong key that I'm trying to use there. Oops. I think that's when we had to go find somewhere else on the map. That said, they did finally get Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings on there, so, okay, they did that. And a big wow, I can't speak today. And a big to you too, Lears. Am I going to be playing Final Fantasy Origin? Now, when you said that, I had a stupid moment. Oh look, it's Dog Boy again. My favorite. I had an idiot moment where you said FF Origin. I thought the PS1 one. That's FF1 and 2. And I was gonna say, I'd totally play those games at some point. Also, please excuse the sound mixing. The cutscenes do not follow my volume rules for the rest of the game. Sega did a real good job with this port to PC, didn't they? So, Yeah, I thought you meant that, obviously, because I'm very stupid.
待てトニオ
But you mean Stranger of Paradise.
リーナをほっとけねえだろ
I probably will play Stranger of Paradise at some point when I'm able to get a copy for
言っちゃったよ
a passable price.
全く困ったやつだ
気をつけてください。何かが近づいて
Because there are, you know, as much as I enjoy the best parts of the Final Fantasy franchise, well, I'm still a bit of a tightwad. And also, might need someone to play it with, assuming money lines up. Well, that is entirely fair. I did not brain out that that would be a multiplayer thing. So, if Stranger of Paradise is a thing that I can obtain for a... I'm holding the R1 button, game. Come on, let me shoot. Just let me shoot. If that's a thing that I can get for a reasonable price, and I have to also put forward here, that's going to be on a console that I own, I hope, because I don't have a PS5, and God knows I will not be able to get hold of one by that time. So... Why not PC? Because I didn't remember there was a PC release. That's why. If there's a PC release, then, I mean, that's probably a little bit more doable. I will have a look at that. I hope that... I hope that, Mother of God, you're gonna make me forget my words. I hope that the PC release is... not, and you can tell that I don't know anything about it off the top of my head. I hope that it's not, like, Epic Store locked for a couple of... Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure that the Kingdom Hearts collection is still Epic locked. Because, you know, money. And, like, again, I would get it if it was a smaller, you know, independent publisher who actually needed the money. But Square, for fuck's sakes. Alternatively, if mostly what you want to see is Matoya, we can just hope that by then they have cross-DC shit in 14, and we can just go, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna run Relict every other week or so. I mean, yeah, there is that. Kingdom Hearts is technically, like, I believe Kingdom Hearts is effectively wholly owned by Disney. It's just that it's developed by Square as something that was basically, like, commissioned by them, commissioned to them, effectively. So, admittedly, Disney are greedy fucks as well, so... Oh, that's a neat get. We just got a pretty decent little, synthesis item if we decide to go into doing some more rare weapons with that. Again, not 100% sure how much we'll do of that, but I do... like the idea, as usual, of showing stuff off. It's why I played far more of Kingdom Hearts than I probably should have, than I could have gotten away with. I could have just, you know, went full speed ahead for the ending there much earlier. Ooh, we got another big boy here. I don't know what this thing has got in the tank. I think it's a... I'm gonna guess it's a ground... Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna guess it's a ground type. It just looks like a ground type. So, it's not Pokemon logic, but apparently electric weaponry will work on it pretty well. Chop it into little pieces. Poke it a bunch. You know, whatever you gotta do. Man, speaking of 14, I gotta do the rest of my Blue Mage stuff already. I broke 80 spells earlier today, learned on Blue Mage. I think I'm at 82. Which, that's not bad, but there's a bunch of stuff that I have to go through a couple of dungeons for. I have to take Blue Mage into some of the 70 dungeons and raids, and I'm just like, oh god, I have to fight Phantom Train with Blue Mage. Oh boy. I mean, I guess I could probably Party Finder that stuff, but still. Blue Mage is a weird class sometimes. In before there's like some stupidly good combo that Blue Mage has that just annihilates Phantom Train. If that Shonker is weak to Ultra Vibration, I'm gonna slap somebody at Square Enix. I'm gonna track down Yoshi P and I'm gonna give him a stern look. Oh yes, now would be a good time to heal. You know what I bought earlier? Healing magic. And I'm not using it. I'm an idiot. Also, speaking of Kingdom Hearts, if anyone is in here in the know, was the cloud release of Kingdom Hearts on the Switch confirmed to be the thing for Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary? Or is there supposed to be more? Because that is something that I wholeheartedly expected to be a much larger endeavor. Yeah, I know that the Kingdom Hearts cloud experience has been an absolute disaster from everything that I've seen. Of just the thing not being able to maintain a steady connection and everything, and there's a bunch of people, you get the weird apologists on Twitter when you see stuff like that, that people who are like, oh, well, I mean, yeah, it's not good, but they can't fit all the games on one cartridge. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here thinking, you know, back in the day, when companies couldn't fit games all on a single cartridge, you know what they did? They made better fucking cartridges is what they did. They put more RAM in them, and, you know, the prices got jacked up a little bit, sure, but you know, well, I mean, yes, there's that too. They could put it on 2 cartridges, which we're not even talking about that as an option, because it absolutely is. But meanwhile, I'm also sitting here thinking, hey, you want to know something that exists? It's grossly expensive, but I know it exists. There are 1 terabyte micro SD cards out there. Do not fucking tell me that they cannot fit all of these games that can fit on, what, 3 discs for the PS4, and that's with them being spread out across the releases, so who can say if they couldn't theoretically be compressed down and arranged in a certain way to fit on 2? Do not fucking tell me that that's impossible. And for that matter, you could easily, if you were selling the whole series, even on Switch, I'm sure that even if they had to jack up the price of the card, you'd get people who would be willing to pay it. Well, I mean, in that case, you just knock some things down a little bit, really. Like, they're PS2 games, man! You could just go on Vim's Lair or something, hashtag not an advertisement, You can just go on Vim's Lair or whatever, download the disc images, and put them on a fucking thing with PCSX2, and it'd be fine. I wouldn't pay $60 for it, but it would be a far more functional piece of software than what there is now. Well, I mean, even with Garbo specs, at least you'd be able to play it. I think that you would get more reviews for a bad game than a game that you can't play. But, you know, that's just me. Oh, so you think that Stadia is going to take off? Well, I guess Google did say that they were not done with Stadia, even though by all means they probably should be. I mean, granted, you probably shouldn't trust Google to continue to support a technology anyway, but that is a whole other story. And I gotta say that at the very least, at least those things are available, which is a joke about the fact that the last story chapter of this game, that there's an episode 3 of the story that is not available, because well, you see, it's funny that you say that, because there's also the constant sentiment of game consoles are turning more into just specifically specifically spec PCs, right? And you get that, but also I understand you're talking about, you know, cheap-assness, which, I mean, we gotta remember, these are corporations. They don't care about, you know, artistry or anything like that. Good doesn't necessarily make them money. Didn't I literally just have a video about that, actually? Like, that's actually a very specific point that I made in that Bubsy video, was that there are plenty of people who are willing to buy trash even on the virtue of it being trash. Well, I didn't know specifically about heated seats regarding the thing specifically about heated seats, pardon me. But I did know that there are cars that have subscriptions for certain services to work. And I'm going to put forth an assumption that most Tesla cars are actually, you know, among those, but that's a whole other story. Still the DS games. Well, I assumed they didn't have any sales whatsoever, actually, so that's a whole other story, isn't it? So basically, Lears, it's just a computer-operated brake, basically, in that case. Because if it's like crumple zones or something like that... Oh, okay, so more like airbag type of thing. I was basically in the same basic area, but... No, I was gonna be like, well, you can't really have something that's like crumple zones or something that are subscription-based, because that literally doesn't work. Matter just cannot be beamed in and out. Oh, I'm not surprised that that's been a situation. I would expect also that that's not cheap to purchase the suit to begin with, because they're not gonna give that to you as, you know, just for paying their subscription. Anyway, our kid's not good at math. Oh. That's a big robot. Arth, that's... I didn't spell it right.
とにかくトニオとだけは合流させてくれ。戦う仲間を少しでも揃えないとこの先まだ何があるかわからないからな。
それも一理あります。遠回りになりますが行きましょう。
合理的なやつには合理的に攻めるしかないさ。
I mean, well, the Stadia certainly is, yeah. Leo, would you like to get over to the healing There you go. Well, the other thing is, you have to have some parts that are good, and this is without discussing the other issue that is outside of the hands of a lot of these companies, regardless of the fact that Google has been also trying to break into fiber and stuff like that, is that internet service in a large amount of parts of, well, this country in particular, it's significantly less of an issue around a lot of the rest of the world because they actually give a shit about giving you a quality product in some places. Not everywhere, but in some places. Internet service around here is often extremely bad. And there's the matter of these companies have carved the entire country up into an oligopoly where they effectively have small regional monopolies, is what it is. Is the simplified, didn't take any classes in econ version of it, which admittedly I took like one class in econ because I was like, okay, I have a lot of elective space in this degree, or I thought I did until I went to an actual university, but that's a whole long story about the absolute fucking fuck disaster that my education was after I left high school. So yeah, a lot of these companies have just carved the country up into small regional monopolies, and they are basically the only real service in a lot of those areas. I am very thankful that Metronet, even if I have some issues with them occasionally, started up over in this part of the country, because otherwise it was basically just AT&T. And they'll go around saying, oh, well, technically we're not a monopoly because, you know, other companies exist in theory. And then you can't buy their goddamn service. And the remaining company gives you, you know, subsistence level service for what is increasingly becoming an essential utility in most people's lives. Which, is a thing that is often very hard to explain to people because I think a lot of people just don't get how important it is for a lot of people to do work and stuff. You know, my things that I do other than content creation, which, ew, what a fucking phrase, is that the last time I was actually doing anything employment-wise was I did transcription work. I had to think of the word there for a minute. Online for a company called Rev. And that means that I relied on having a stable internet connection for my employment. For a lot of people, it is a necessary part of their lives, and that's without, you know, matters of that's how people communicate nowadays, that's how people stay informed and everything. So even when it's not a literal necessity in people's lives, it's often their source of everything. That everything outside of work is tied to the internet. Well, you know, there's the issue in it that they don't want you to have a life outside of being a slave to the machine. We're walking back to the healing station because I feel like it, and I got off on such a rant that it almost feels a little bit necessary to do something like that. So, yeah, in multiple parts of the world, we'll put it that way, streaming-based video game services are absolutely unfeasible in every sense of the word. Not just, oh, it's stupid that you don't own this thing that is rightfully yours, which was already an issue with digital distribution in the first place. You know, if, for example, the game that I always go back to as being the tipping point for making me really angry about this was Ace Attorney 5. And I remember saying to people at the time when AA5 dropped that I was like, well, what if for some reason they just decide to seize it from your account? What if they decide to ban your account or forcibly shut it down in some way? What if your account gets hijacked and, I don't know, it's involved in something so criminal that there's an That is a little bit over the top, but also, very seriously, you do not own anything that you do not have a physical copy of on one of those, on a newer console, and, you know, on an older console too, but that's, you know, theoretically that sort of stuff is solved by hard drives, and downloading stuff, and putting it onto your M2 that you put in a slightly chilled storage area to keep it at a nice, dry, safe temperature or something, whatever. I'm clearly explaining it wrong, but you understand the idea of, you know, put it somewhere safe and dry and not too hot. That will, you know, keep any amount of anything that could be ever even remotely sensitive with it in perfect shape. Which should probably not be too big of an issue with an M2, but still. Just to be as extra secure as possible about it. Anyway, so that's always been an issue of you don't own the things that you've spent this money on. And also, oh my god, I've actually gotten so upset that I've forgotten where I'm going. Oh, I see, it's the Nerd Brigade.
よし力を合わせていくぞ
おいポケット突っ立ってないで手を貸せよ
私は情報収集が専門で力仕事には向いていませんので
なんだあいつ
皆さんリーナさんを発見しました。
何見つかったのかリーナ大丈夫か
あんちゃん
よかったよかった
タヨ助けに来てくれたんだね。ありがとう。
よかったな
ガーディアンズが海賊を助けるなんて規約違反です。
固いこと言うなよ海賊だろうと命は大事なんだから
生命体は替えが利かなくていろいろと不便ですね。助けてくれてありがとう。みんなをランディール号に招待するよ。
Have I? Actually, yes, that's the thing that I mentioned to someone when I posted my stream up in another group of like, oh, have you considered it? And I'm like, yeah, I've considered it,
ご厄介になろうや。
Right now, there is a
海
ton
賊
of
になろうなんて
YouTuber
理解できません。
YouTuber. There's always YouTuber drama, but that's not what I'm trying to say here. There is a lot of VTuber drama right now surrounding the VTuber Rushia, or whatever her name is. I assume it's Rushia because that's kind of how it looks like it's spelt, and I don't want to say it as Russia because, I mean,
大変だ。
that turned into its own joke on Twitter, but
世話の焼ける奴らだよ。
Rushia, Russia, whatever her name is, Rusev, it could be, and how basically because she has a boyfriend, and a lot of people were super fucking pissed about that. And I was like, that seems a little bit creepy for the sort of thing that I would consider tolerable among my own fan base. Like, I would maybe consider it slightly weird for people to draw, like, pornographic fan art or whatever of one of those characters, because it's like, wow, that's basically a person. You know, it would be kind of like, where is the difference between drawing naked 2D from the Gorillas and drawing naked Damon Albarn? Damon Albarn being one of the main guys behind the Gorillas. And yeah, there's that whole conversation there, and, you know, okay, sure, that's a little weird, but I wouldn't say anything about that, you know, I'd be designing an anime girl, so whatever. And that would almost give me sort of like this confirmation of like, oh, I've made a real character. But the absolute fucking creepy ass shit that a lot of people who are fans of that would kind of turn me away a little bit, but I have still given it some consideration and, you know, put a couple of design things here and there that I am considering re-examining, but that's a story for another. Yeah, I think Leo has all of the other Lou robot in his back pocket, right? I'm getting back to the game story for a moment here. Yeah, I mean, memory is replaceable. Well, actually, you probably mean like hard drives, so. Well, I mean, again, I'd be a little bit torn. I am increasingly... I feel very strange saying this because of voice-related reasons, but I feel that I'm increasingly going in a direction... Well, okay, voice-related reasons in the fact that I don't necessarily present that way in the real world either. You know, I have facial hair and I dress in a way that is very, you know, gender neutral in the sense that would be considered boyish, because that's how the concept of quote-unquote gender neutral clothing works a lot of the time. You know, I'm saying that I feel I'm kind of leaning somewhat more in a feminine direction as I go along, but I'm not always sure about that. But, you know, obviously I just voice, like, you know, I just voice, yeah, okay. That's good English. I just sort of speak with my very natural voice most of the time. Not counting, like, the clumsiness or the fact that it slowly goes raw over time because of, you know, the fact that I'm super awful about having any water around here to, you know, lubricate or anything. I clearly need to, like, carry actual beverages to the streaming zone. So yeah, I sometimes feel a little bit nervous about saying things like that because I worry that a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, you're faking, because that's the kind of society that we live in. Basically, everything is a huge, horrible mess in the entirety of reality, and I am very easily made to feel bad about a variety of things for many, many reasons. that are probably a little more complicated to get into, and I also worry that a lot of it will sound like me angling for compliments if I get into that. I'm not, like, out here saying, hey, I'm fucked up in the head, and I'm worried that I will be perceived as being a faker, or that I'm afraid sometimes to be wrong in public because, you know, I have a frail ego or whatever. You know, I'm not saying that looking for people to pat me on the back. It's just a statement of fact that I'm not exactly the sturdiest person on the psychological front. It is what it is. So yeah, setting all of that aside. Oh, okay, so the Wi-Fi is really bad in this cave. Setting all of that aside, yeah, I lean a little bit more in that direction, but I continue to say non-binary and they, them for reasons of I would not necessarily consider it clear at this point. And here's Ethan trying to give the power of friendship speech to a robot. Unfortunately, that doesn't really work, and Tonyo is trying to rush us along, which, fair enough. Let's get back to the gameplay, everybody. Apologies for the pathos. I'm sure that the amount of people who come here for that... Especially because I believe I prefaced my exploration into this series in various places by saying that I was not super positive about this game outside of the gameplay. And of course, we're cheesing the fuck out of the gameplay with some things that I'm surprised they actually gave to us so willingly. But that's another matter entirely. Hey, wow, they gave us the crazy busted spear attack after Chapter 2. Plastic Alan judging me in the background. That's probably why he hasn't come back to streaming, by the way. I don't think Lears is here, so he'd be like the only person who would have any sort of point of reference for who we're talking about right now. If he is here, well, there you go. That's the real reason he's not streaming anymore. It's not because he had a kid and also works retail still, as far as I know, and that's psychologically friction-inducing situation, and it's not good for anybody. It's just because I'm in this game using a fucking spear as my go-to damage source. Either that or this thing, which, let's be honest, this is basically just two spears strapped together with, you know... Either that or it's like a kayak paddle. Well, I mean, he may not be listening. I don't want to call him out if he's, like, just idling in the background. And, you know, not watching. I don't want to be that person. Like, again, I'm sort of pushing it a little bit here by pointing out that somebody followed the stream about 15 minutes ago. And, you know, again, thank them very much for doing that. But I don't want to be the person who has, like, notifications for that kind of thing that, you know, will go off if they do that. Not only because, of course, there are still the usual slimy bad actors on Twitch who will have names that are loosely inappropriate to try and get people to read them off and be like, oh, hey, you just implied that you are a bottom or something like that, as if that's something to have an issue with. But also because I don't really want to call people out who are lurking or otherwise are just, you know, hit and run for any real reason whatsoever. It's like, go about your day. I demand no fealty whatsoever. I mean, follows and all of that are nice. I just hope I can make somebody laugh once in a while, or otherwise lighten up their life, and I don't want to call them out for participation or non-participation. That is not the purpose of me having a stream. The point of it is to show off these games that well, most of them are games that I like, or at least games that I don't dislike. You didn't do nothing wrong, Lears. I'm just... I was saying I didn't want to call you out publicly. I was making a joke earlier saying that because my main weapon during this playthrough has been a spear, that's why Plastic Alan does not stream anymore, is that he's just too busy judging me for being this motherfucker. It's not that he has a kid, it's not that he works retail or anything, he's just... He doesn't want me to drop in and, you know... He doesn't want to have to roast my ass, I guess, for being a filthy spear user. Oh wow, what's next? Is your favorite boss in Mario RPG Eurytovich? Actually, Eurytovich's pretty cool, so... Oh god, I'm sorry. No, Eurytovich is definitely not the best boss in Mario RPG. I don't know what the best boss in Mario RPG would actually be. Although, I gotta admit, I do think Johnny Jones is pretty cool. What a guy. Your true mate. Eurytovich is a boss named that... now, I admit that I'm not aware of, like, what it would be in Japanese, because I don't know his Japanese name offhand, but of course, it's a combination of two languages, really, because it's, you know, Yari is a Japanese spear, and the ending is a very, very Slavic in general, not necessarily specifically Russian. You rid a bitch? Yeah, that's... I mean, honestly, he is kind of a bitch, so... maybe the one that sounds like I'm swearing a little bit. So, yeah, it would be a little bit of a funny way to... funky thing to pronounce, but... I fully admit that I'm one of those people who does not necessarily take the original Japanese as being a clear delineator for pronouncing the English version on, you know, outside of certain circumstances. I'm not going to pronounce it Urianger, for example. I'm not a fucking rube. Not in that regard, anyway. So... One big one, for example, Earthbound, which is, again, probably my favorite video game of all time. You know, get a little bit of Kanye going there. Of all time! Is, you know, the first town, Onet, you know, you would pronounce it Onet in English. I used to follow a guy... I mean, there's plenty of people who pronounce it as Onet because it's very ambiguous, but of course... the pun and everything, but in I knew a guy... Oh, I cut that word off in a very unfortunate place, let's put it that way. I knew a guy who justified continuing to pronounce it as Onet, because he was like, well, in Japanese, it's spelled Oneto, which, you know, that would be pronounced Onet, not Onet. And it's like, dude, at the very least, you are missing out on the point that Earthbound is not Mother 2. Also, this chode is a little too high up in the air for me to get without a little bit of first-person action, so I gotta remember what my first-person key is. And then I have to get used to the very, very blocky controls. So, I think that the intended pronunciation in the English version, at the very least, is still Onet, to theme with Tucson, Threed, or Threek if you look at what it was before it was translated. I've been rewatching a certain streamer's playthrough of the Maternal Bound patch, which is a partial retranslation patch, and that includes changing things back to the like Threek and that, you know. The story goes supposedly that Threek was changed from was changed to Threed, not from Threed. Boy, if only I could remember to use my words correctly. Because somebody somewhere at NOA was worried that people would perceive it as being a reference to the clan. That they would see 3K and they would be like, oh, 3Ks? You mean the Ku Klux Klan? Which is also why they changed the look of the Insane Cultists, by the way. They did not have the little pom-poms on the ends of their hoods, and they had little H initials on their eyebrows in the original Mother 2. So they thought, oh, people will look at that and go like, oh, they mean the clan, right? And I always think about that at the same time that I think about the fact that Donkey Kong Country 3 had a world called the K3. It was the big mountain world, which, of course, the K3 is a reference to the actual K2 mountain, which, you know, it's supposed to be like, oh, hey, look at the K2, it's more, or the K2, son of a bitch. Look at the K3, it's more impressive than the K2, right? But by that same logic, you could also make the, oh, K3, it's a clan joke sort of assumption. And that always kind of threw me off because, and I say that considering that I know basically dick fuck all about mountaineering. I was not aware of what the K2 was until I was like 28. I am not knowledgeable about mountains, and they frankly kind of scare me. Can we go this way? We can go this way. We can embark on a side quest here. This I believe is a completely one-of-a-kind thing for this chapter that we can go off on this little side quest. And quite frankly, let's have a look and see if there's anything over here. This is something that I don't believe I've ever seen before. Yeah. The Happy Happyists are, for the large part, the Happy Happyists are otherwise not too much changed from the original. The Don't Go to Heaven guy in the compound that you have to fight is basically, he still says don't go to heaven in the original, which I think is really funny because, you know, they're a small town Christian cult. They would absolutely just sort of be like, oh, go to HE double hockey sticks if you were to try and press them. And their originally Peaceful Rest Valley was Grateful Dead Valley, which is a kind of a sad change, but they kept a lot of the Beatles references and stuff in there, which is even weirder that they were like, oh, we don't want to get on Jerry Garcia's bad side. Like Jerry Garcia would have cared, right? If Jerry Garcia knew, I think he probably would have been like, dude, that's fucking cool. That, and of course, you know, dead. Nintendo was a little overly obsessive sometimes about not including references to death or anything like that. I gotta wonder if that's why they did not translate that one screenshot on the back of Pokemon Red with Charmander's nickname being Sepultura. Sepultura the Charmander. I only found out like a couple of days ago that that actually was a thing that was on the back box of Pokemon Red in Japan. Because I remember the Sepultura Charmander reference from Pokemon Origins when that was first available in only fan sub format. I thought that he was just making that like the author was just making a reference to the band Sepultura, and I was like, dude, that kid's got good taste. But no, it turns out that you can track Portuguese is another thing that I don't know a whole lot about, because Sepultura is just a Portuguese word meaning grave. Which explains why the group named themselves that. Nice and simple. This conversation has gone in a very strange direction, I believe, but... What can you do? We're all about the weird conversations here, it seems like. Okay, I was gonna say, we're just getting healing items from these, I guess. And again, hitting these item tanks is really hard with the spear. So it's not quite a fix everything type of solution. But it gets most jobs done, that's for sure. Is there anything else here? This feels pretty slight if this is all our side quest is, if this is the end of it. So this way we just go back. Oh, here's some more monsters. Well, you see, the big dude is right in the middle, Lena, so if we can do some big AoEs, which is definitely... We have some pretty good CC going on with our setup here, believe it or not. May as well start chipping that dude down a little bit. And out we go. That way, there's a door. Take a look at the map. Alright, we haven't gone out that door yet, so let's go there. And take out our kayak ore again. Such a good attack. Oh, man. I love this weapon so much. I mean, to be fair, the double sabers are, like, actually kind of always some of the best weapons in the PSO series. In the original PSO, they were super, super good for melee. If you were any of the mages who wanted to do any melee shit, which would basically be Fomarl, you would be absolutely toting Vivienne with you, because it's a very good weapon and it can let you recover some mana. Oh, absolutely. That is definitely true. Kirby has a pretty fun two-ended sword. Chrono Cross, that Chrono Cross remaster is coming out in April, by the way. Does anyone have any opinions about the Chrono Cross remaster? Because I have seen some very mixed opinions about it. I've seen a lot of people who are decently hyped for it. Especially, of course, I follow a lot of Aussies, and a lot of them are super into it because it's like, hey, we can now own the game without having to pirate it, which, you know, each your own. Fair enough. A lot of other people are, you know, a little all over the place with it in terms of interest. The people who are not into it seem to be incredibly fucking negative, though, which makes me worry that there's something there that I'm not seeing, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know, this seems okay. It seems about the quality that I would expect out of a remaster. And also, Chrono Cross deserved a much better shake than it ever got. And I think that giving it a second chance, even though it's like 20 to 25, I think 22 years actually, specifically, even though it's like 22 years later, and the fact that it's named Chrono Cross means that it is always going to be stuck in its predecessor's shadow, and some things are just not fixable in that regard. I think that this could be the second chance that it actually deserves. And yeah, I own the hell was I about to say? I own a copy of the original as well on PS1. It's hanging out over on my game rack over in the corner. It's a pretty good game. It's definitely not my favorite RPG from the PS1 era. Like, it's no Final Fantasy IX, but it's pretty good. It's got a lot of interesting stuff going on. Maybe it suffers from a few too many characters, which means that quite a few of them don't get a good chance to really stretch on their own, but excuse me, I like quite a few of the ones that are in there. And it's, again, a case where I feel like, well, first of all, I'm fucking lost, and second of all, more to the point about Chrono Cross, I don't believe that every single game that is a sequel needs to be, like, the same game, too, you know? Chrono Cross does not need to be a game that's about those characters once again. There's a lot more that could be done with some of those characters, I agree. I want a playable Shala, not counting Kid in Chrono Cross, of course, because, well, yes, but not, basically, this is me saying that I was slightly disappointed by a ROM hack that I saw a friend play one time. And back to the story here. You know, it doesn't have to just be further adventures of Chrono and friends. The game ended, let it end, and there's a lot more to the world that we didn't get to explore. We were in, like, a city per time period, and they were all effectively the same city, just in different, different eras. Sometimes it was different civilizations, but we basically dealt with the same relatively few small groups of NPCs throughout time. Because it's shown that Doan is related to the Zeal bloodline. Basically, I think technically the entire cast is related to the Zeal bloodline. The Guardia family is. And there's plenty of the rest of the world that's not. So, give him a chance, why don't you, right? And Chrono Cross, I think, does a pretty okay job of that. And the connections back to Chrono Trigger make it a little bit weaker just by virtue of the fact that they're not that strong of connections in general. How lost is my team right now? Oh, okay, I see. They didn't stand by when I cast Peloton. Jackasses. And that's why I don't queue as ranged DPS anymore. At least not for Alliance raids. Well, the other thing is that I haven't been in a queue for, like, anything in a hot minute. Except for, the End Singer. I was like, what the fuck was that called? Is that End Times? No, not quite. I was thinking of Dead Ends for a two-word one.
トニーよ、
なんだよ。
リーナとちゃんと話をしといた方がいいんじゃねえか。
余計なお世話だよ。
まあそう言わずに、俺たちはあっちへ行ってるからさ。
ごゆっくり。
おいちょっと待てよ。
いやあ、いいさん。また会えたな。
Oh, hey, is it time for some arm wrestling? Oh, be careful of his prank buzzer. No, he's not that kind of guy. Tylor has some honor, apparently.
ありがとう。
あんちゃん。
機嫌が悪いようだな。あいつらまた来たか。
エンドラム機関だな。
ああ、マガシだ。
我々も一緒に戦おう。
Oh, it's time to fight Epiontan again, huh?
それは頼もしい。
Or for real this time, anyway. It's more of a sky eel if it has to land. Wait. That's a bad joke.
ガーディアンズと海賊どもが勢ぞろいか。ちょうどいい。こいつの餌食になってもらおうか。
He looks very underdressed with the fact that you can't see his wings. Alright, so... Is he just gonna fucking bail if I bull rush him? Are you kidding me? You dick. Yeah, so I guess this is A, an advisement against going full melee, and B, really needlessly rude. Also C, really proving that Ranger is a pretty busted class and I probably should have switched to it. It seems to be a hell of a lot better than... I mean, because we're out here, we're using our rifle. I could be using a better rifle as a Ranger. I could be using twin handguns. I could probably be putting the laser cannon to effective use in this fight. I'd have better accuracy, so this would, like, actually work, maybe. I mean, it would still have some range issues, but come on. In fact, I forget if I showed off the full list of weapon types that each class is able to use. Because while we can't do Tornado Dance as a Ranger, we do have access to spears as a weapon class as the Ranger, so we could still get some incredibly ridiculous melee damage in. Like, we would not be able to equip the S rank spear, which we'll get access to in a couple of chapters. I don't think we get it next chapter, but we get it fairly soon, because we are nearing the end of the game. And the damage output on that thing is pretty solid. Worse for a reason. Yeah, fair enough. Alright, let's recharge. This fight sucks already. Ow. Let's see, where do I target him? I just shoot him in the chest a bunch? I mean, that works, I guess. Ow! Got him. I could have done that a lot faster if I had just resolved to go into first-person mode much sooner. Which means that I think we're probably not getting S rank for this mission, because I played that like a fool. Yeah, I mean, see, doesn't it look fucked up with this dude not having his wings? Like, he absolutely looks like he's completely naked here. Or at least shirtless. Oh, never mind. Tylor isn't that much of a guy with dignity. Dignity, I don't think that's quite the word I'm looking for. Honor, there we go. He's about to explode. Yep. Obviously. He's a robot. He's laughing in a suspiciously jolly manner. I bet he's got paradox absorbing crumple zones. I've said the word crumple zones an awful lot this stream. Yeah, A rank. Head back into the window apparently. 4 grand, 90 mission points. We are at almost level 8 for Hunter. That's pretty nice. And I believe this is going to be Cutscene O Rama.
これでよし。ナンバー256。迎えに来たわ、ナンバー178。すぐにデータの移動を。もうプロテクトが限界なの。了解。データ移動完了。
どうなっちまったんだ。
ナンバー178は役目を終えました。お手数ですが処分をお願いします。
処分って、あんた仲間が死んだんだろ。悲しくないのかい？
私にはそのような無駄な感情はありません。
無駄ってひどい。仲間が死んで何も感じないなんて。
リーナ、このキャストに何を言っても無駄だよ。さあ行こう。
処分はもう少し待とう。
そうだな。
涙。感情なんて無駄なものはないはずなのに。お疲れ様。ゆっくりお休み。ルー。
Ooh, different song. Neat. Let's sit back and listen to it.
.ただ一つ残るニューデイズの封印装置の発見のため原子を使えないかという総裁。イーさんは巫女となったカレンを説得するためニューデイズに向かう。イーさんはカレンに再び会うことができるのか。次回ファンタジースターユニバース原子の儀。君の守るべきものは何だ。
Oh, I really see some shit's gonna happen. I am going to be right back, everybody. My throat is basically telling me, hey, go get some water, you fuck. And I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, I'm back. Let's save the game. And then start in on Chapter 10. There's 12 chapters to this game, which I believe I've mentioned before, so we're getting in pretty deep. Oh, I see. It's a reference to another Sega game.
ガーディアンズのオーベルダルガン総裁は太陽系同盟会議の席上、同盟軍のエンドラム機関がエーフォトン研究者および関係者を拉致していた事実を公表しました。エンドラム機関は今まで超法規的活動が問題視されており、発表を受けて同盟軍は調査委員会を設置して事件の全容解明に乗り出しました。委員会はエンドラム機関の代表エンドラムハーネス氏を解任。エンドラム機関は事実上解体されることになりました。しかし行方不明者の捜索は今なお続いています。続いてのニュースです。太陽の黒点活動が活発化しています。こちらが6時間前の太陽の映像です。ご覧の通り黒点領域は急速に拡大しています。この太陽の活動とパルムに突如出現した塔との関連についてガーディアンズでは引き続き調査を進めています。今日のグラールチャンネル5
starting to look like
ヘッドラインニュースはここまで。
continents on the sun.
ニュースキャスターは春でした。バイバイ。
That'd be really weird. It's not that, by the way. Of that, I am like 100% confident. Because I think I would remember Go to the Sun.
皆さん、ナンバー178の回収は無事終了しました。ラボで修理して再生させる予定です。
処分しなくてよかったな。
ありがとうございました。
意外だな。ルーに感謝されるなんて。
まあ悪い気はしないけどな。
感謝など無駄な処理だとは思いましたが、あなた方の認識レベルに合わせてみました。
あ
あのな、てめえの言葉には心がこもってねえんだよ。
Tonyo, she's a
私
robot!
に心はありませんから。
この野郎、粉々にして処分所へ送ってやんだ。
This fucking gremlin, I swear!
俺たちはチームなんだ。気持ちが通じ合わないといい仕事はできないんだよ。
了解しました。今後気をつけます。
Leo is the closest thing of a voice of reason in here.
ルーの回収ご苦労じゃったな。
Ah, boy.
回収したデータのおかげで元部の封印装置のありかが分かった。次の任務じゃが、トニオとレオは元部の封印装置の防衛に出かけてくれ。
はい。
はい。
俺は
ウェーバー君には別の任務がある。総裁が直々に話をしたいそうじゃ。
Oh, he is going to chew us the fuck out!
はい。
それじゃ頼んだぞ。
Well, time
話
to
ってなんだ
go
ろ
get
とお前にしかできない
horribly
ことがあるんだろう。
reamed by
こっちは二人で十分だ。
these
行ってこい。
folks.
あ
Alright, well, they're giving us enough time to go stop and have a quick browse around the shops, which I don't think are going to be updated yet, but you never know, do you? Also, more importantly, Cube! Before I forget. Just go to the cube and recharge my mana so that way I can keep casting whatever. I don't know where I'm going with this. Pop in the shop and see if anything is new. I am going to take a guess that it's not. Oh, that's
またよろしくな。
the wrong shop. This is the counter we want to check out. Yeah, we got some of this going on. Yeah, this is another thing that is pretty great about Rangers and we can't use as a hunter. I feel like C rank double handguns would be outdated by this point, but we can't use anything better because we're just a who.
また寄っていってくれ。
Alright. So, back to base. We're going into our barracks for a second so that way we can store all of our synth items. Because again, I'm not going to say we won't explore that in more depth than we did earlier. We may end up deciding, hey, we've found some pretty neat ingredients. We may be able to make something useful. Again, it would mostly be for the purposes of showing off because, as I said, you do gain access to S-rank weapons that can just be purchased from the shops that are better than anything else you can get in network mode as far as I know. But, why not? I like being able to show stuff off to people. I like to demonstrate that I know stuff, I guess. I'm one of those people. Alright, do you have anything to tell us, Nina? Yeah. Otherwise, we would not technically have authorization to go up to the president's office and get our asses whooped.
お待ちしていました。
あ、ルー。
はじめまして。私はナンバー24のルーです。総裁がお待ちかねです。
はい。
Y'all need to start wearing name tags.
よく来てくれたな、ウェーバー君。君に来てもらったのは他でもない。君にしかできない仕事だ。
俺にしかできない仕事?
That line just made me imagine him having like a JFK voice if he was in English.
見つかっていない。あらゆる手を尽くして探しているのだが、未だにわからないのだ。
エンドラム機関を調べてみては。
それも調査中だが、マガシが死んでしまって手がかりを探すのが難しい状況だ。
Ooh, arguably we done fucked up last time.
そこで原子の力を借りたいのだ。
え？
カレン、いや、ミコに原子をしてもらうようルツ精霊市長に申し入れたが断られてしまった。
Oh, so you need someone with a little bit more clout than you.
という理由でな。
それで俺を。
君なら個人的にミコに頼めるのではないかと考えたんだ。
無理です。今の彼女はもう昔のカレンじゃない。原始のミコなんです。もう会ってはくれませんよ。
ウェーバー君、我々にはもう時間がないのだよ。封印できないままゴーの時が過ぎてしまえば、グラールはシードに滅ぼされるほかないんだ。
ゴーの時？
What now?
ああ、それについては後でルーが説明してくれるだろう。頼む、ニューデイズへ向かってくれ。
わかりました。やってみます。
Alright. Well, we got our destination in mind. We've got a decent amount of the background point here. Unification point. Yeah, I mean, that's been a little bit uncertain. But I don't know if everybody knows for sure. Ooh, interesting. A what now? distorted space. Ah, so it's a wormhole to fuck nowhere. Gotcha. In each planet. So, equilateral triangle. Unification point is between them. Or, no, pardon me. Unification point is not a place, it's time. We have about a month. Gotcha. So, we're probably about to go get into a bit of a tangle with security at the tower again. Tower. That's not the term at all. What am I thinking? Oh, right, I'm thinking I'm very confused. I was gonna say, is Blue Butt Munch still around? Still not around. What about Maya? I mean, if you just stay very far away if necessary, it won't be too much of a problem. And ultimately, Ethan, that sort of mindset is self-defeating if you just talk down to everybody. You're not going to go anywhere. Eventually, you're just going to run out of people that can defend anyone, but, you know. I don't know, it's a complicated situation, buddy. And a hell of a lot more complicated than you can deal with. Probably more than she can deal with, too, but I don't personally know. Because we don't get to explore her character very much, because every time she shows up, outside of the time where Dog Boy stole her credit card, you've been a dick to her, Ethan. You are the worst brother I've seen in a while. Anyway, we're going straight to the shop here, and we're going to see if anything has changed in this particular location. The answer is probably no, but you never know. Ooh, that's a fire element spear. Plastic Allen raging in the background. And our current spear does more damage than it, so screw that, honestly. That's gonna be a better cane than what we have, so let's compare. Yeah. Like, it's a marginal gain, but I'll take it. We'll grab that. Alright, so let's link our Photon Arts again. Oh, right. Gotta remember to actually add it to the palette. There we go. Alright. Now, sell that. I don't think any other part of this is going to be really work. Well, I should check armor, actually. Alright, so this thing looks a little bit better than what we have, but again, it's all head-based stuff. I don't need the tech boosting. Oh, there's an extra slot finally. Electro Heart. What does this do? It just says that it gives me more endurance. Sure. Let's try it out. We've got a new Marina in the Diamonds album? That's a reference that nobody's gonna get anymore. I don't even think the people who were listening to her on Tumblr back in the early 2000s, the early 2010s rather, like her anymore. Could be wrong about that. Haven't personally gone to look in any length of time. Because I tried and it was not my bag. But, I mean, I was listening to Sepultura a couple days ago, so I don't think that should surprise you that I'm more into the heavy metal. You got any useful looking boards for sale? No, this is all going to be of the item types that are on New Des. He just looks like a regular dude. Alright, so can we go in here and take this to go to where we want to go? No. But we can also see, I can point out that that Grove of Fanatics free mission is one that I used to grind the hell out of when I first played this game. Because it's super easy with the right setup. And you get pretty good rewards, and that's a place where you can get certain rare materials very, and I mean very easily. So, yeah. Do I have to go to the tower to go see the Lightmaster, or do I have to go to Guardian's Branch or something? I'm slightly confused. Obviously, I have to be on this planet. I thought it was we fly out there and just kicks off a mission chain or something. This is where we're going to find out that there's something else really weird going on, right? Okay. Yeah, you go find out what's the deal. And it's time for us to have a very awkward meeting, I'm sure. A little bit of knuckle cracking in here before this
お久
starts.
しぶりです。
その節はお世話になりました。それでご用件は？
巫女様に原始をしていただきたいのです。
やはりそのことですか。総裁にはお断りしたはずです。どなたがお越しになられても答えは変わりませんよ。
そこをなんとかお願いします。
この時世にあって我が教団も厳しい状況は同じ。巫女様を危険な目に遭わせるわけにはいきません。
巫女様は滅びの時をみんなで救おうと。
ニューデイズだけでも手がいっぱいなのです。
このままじゃニューデイズだけじゃない。グラール全体が滅亡してしまうかもしれないんですよ。
原子によって活路を見出せるというのならやるべきです。それがこの太陽系を救うことになるのでしたら協力しましょう。多くの人々の命が救えるのならば私は死んでも構わないと思っています。
巫女様、わかりました。巫女様のおっしゃる通り我々もグラールの民ですから。
ありがとうございます。
では少しでも正確な原子ができるようにグラールの聖地へ。
Oh, I see we're on a bit of an escort mission, huh? Alright, so we have to... Are we going to have to bring Lou with us, or are we using just Karen and Dr. Tomrin? Alright, so it looks like we're going to be... using just Lou. I'm going to check the other shops, by the way, and see if there isn't anything that I can get hold of that might improve our everything a little bit. I'm sure that the answer to that is going to be no, but I want to give it a quick look anyway, just to see, you know? If we can go into this with some shiny new gear, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, see, we can get better armor now. What's the difference between these? Oh, this thing just doesn't have any slots whatsoever. Well, that sucks. Alright, so equip the Giga Line. We picked this up during a mission last time, I believe. The Mega/Knight slot, and you can see that it adds a little bit of accuracy and power. So it may be worth not even switching this if this is just too good. Skill PP save. Usage weak. It's late in the build. Yikes! Holy fuck! That absolutely annihilates your stats. Ew. Like, the rest of it looked good. The fact that it reduces your skill PP usage sounds pretty good, but the rest of it, Jesus. Alright, so that's 4 endurance, boost stamina slightly. Our other one is better. Safety heart. Let's do this. Auto recovery. Give me that shit. This is why you shop around before you do anything, because I don't really need that Electro Heart now, do I? That regen. Oh, that's pretty nice. Alright, so what's up? Oh! So, I was saying before about a move called Bone Dance. This is actually a weapon named Bone Dance, not a move. That's my bad. Bone Storm! Oh wait, no, that's something else. Pardon me. Alright. Now, if I could just remember how to use the controls here. How does this compare to our... it's about on par with our current Double Saber, so we're not going to do that. Durandal. Does this measure up to that? Yeah, it's the same thing as Sevadrata, basically. Oh, hey, there's a tier 2 laser cannon if you want it. Unfortunately, we cannot use it. However, that upgrade for our weapon here. Get our Bone Storm on.
Oh, Rashi.
I don't think there's any new moves to pick up that are of any real use right now. Yeah, it's just the same shit that we've seen before. So, meh. Time to go check MoTube real quick, and then we loop back to Nudez and we start on our mission. Alright, shop. Show me potato salad. Let's see something here that is going to be a big upgrade. I don't think there's going to be one right now, but we'll take a look anyway. Yeah, we got the best of, like, all of these, pretty much. How does this measure up to the other one that we picked up? I actually want more PP for that weapon more than any other type, so... Yeah, that's going to be a non-starter, although... Let's check the armor units and see if I done goofed earlier by picking up that thing. And no, it appears that is not the case. These are... It's 5% elemental. That's interesting. Not really my bag, but interesting nonetheless. Alright, let's GTFO, everybody. It's time. It's time to get underway for the actual mission part of Chapter 10. And hopefully we won't have another 4-hour stream like last time. Hopefully this one will be of a more normal person type of length. Alright. Cube? No need to cube. Save? Abso-fucking-lutely, because I had some crashes before. Thankfully, none of them were on stream, but still. And 25 minutes of goofing off. That is quite a bit of goofing off. Alright, let us begin. Chapter 10, Well and Proper, with the mission Divination Escort. And indeed, here we is in the middle of nowhere.
私の力で滅亡の危機を救えるのであれば協力は惜しみません。
それでは参りましょう。
あなた方はここで待っていてください。
ミコ様、危険です。我々がお守りします。
大丈夫です。ガーディアンズの方々がついてくれていますから。
Besides, we're only allowed to have a party of 4.
そうおっしゃるのなら、お気をつけて。
ありがとう。
Y'all need to make sure the getaway car works.
それでは参りましょう。
Getaway car? I don't think that's the phrase I'm looking for, but...
はい。
Oh well, it's too late now. I said it already. Whoops. See, we got these heart particles now for our auto regen or auto recover. Wait, you have Buddhists in this world? Eh? That's a weird way to phrase it because... So I guess that Gurhal had Buddha at some point. Very unusual. It's one of those things, like, when you see the Pokemon entries and it's like, Poliwrath can swim across the Atlantic Ocean to insult your mother, or whatever it is said to do. Or, Raichu can shock an Indian elephant so hard that it will be very shocked. And it's very weird to see that kind of stuff. Also, these enemies are level 50. Yeah, we are really coming up to a point where we're a little underleveled, huh? I mean, the last mission, the only thing that... You know, we were on par, really, with everything there. Right up until Magashi's boss fight when he was level, like, 48 or something, which ain't shit compared to the fact that we already fought a level 55 seed in the Underground Ruins in Chapter 8, I think. So, it's super weird to see that huge jump now. We're fighting regular monsters that are level 50. Thankfully, levels don't really mean a whole lot, especially in this game. It's just sort of a big number that scares me. We should, in fact, not have much issue, especially if it's just going to be the mooks that are low level, like this thing is level 47. That's a little more manageable. But it's still going to be an MF no matter what, because it's a big enemy. It's a chonker. We're going to keep this out for a bit, because we want more of our points back on our bone sword here. Oh, well, that's a nice way to recover. Take the spear back out. And keep going. Hell. That freeze didn't make me feel good, that's for sure. Alright. We'll heal real quick, and we will switch back to be able to break these. Because as I've alluded to, we are getting good materials now, so very worth doing that if we want to experimentate at any point. And as I said, we may well do it. I confirm nothing, but it may happen. Got him. Very nice. Level 45. That's gonna help us even the playing field a little bit. Although I'm really noticing that those level 50 enemies seem to just be a thing that sticks out a little bit. We are probably actually fine. The game just wanted me to freak out a little, because it's like that, I suppose. And it worked! I mean, I responded strongly, did I not? I went, oh shit. I don't think I said oh shit, but, you know, it was there in spirit, right? That, like, attempted bird sound in the background just kind of sounds like one of those stock sound effects they use for, like, radios and satellites and things. I associate it primarily with satellites because I specifically remember hearing the sound effect in question in the Earthworm Jim cartoon. Of all things, in one episode where there was a satellite that was making that noise as it was traveling through space. The Earthworm Jim cartoon, that's something that I've only ever seen 2 episodes of. I should track that down and, like, actually watch all of it at some point, because despite my feelings about one of the main guys who made Earthworm Jim as a franchise being a huge, and I mean huge, piece of shit, Doug TenNapel is what you would call not a good human being. And also, he is what you would call somebody who uses his status as a Christian to try and cover for that, in a sense. Like, be like, well, I'm doing this because it's the godly thing to do. Meanwhile, he's a huge fucking homophobe and, you know, general purpose Donald Trump style right-winger. He is, as I said, kind of garbage, but unfortunately he made a good game, so yeah. Earthworm Jim mostly holds up. I mean, some parts of it are a little bit gross in terms of difficulty, but it's like a real game. And he also made the Neverhood, which is pretty good. Even inside of it being a Christian game, it's not like that. It's pretty decent. A little bit unsettling. I like it, even though I don't like Doug TenNapel. Yeah. So I have a lot of affection for the franchise still. I did a video about that a very long time ago, which looks really, really rough around the edges compared to what my content is like nowadays, but I still stand by a fair bit of it. I may end up... I've considered remaking some of my older content that I think is not good, and that's actually somewhere on the list. The same goes for the very first video that I ever did, which was on Eternal Darkness. I don't exactly think that my Eternal Darkness video was all that good, especially not compared to what I've done since. You know, compared to what I've done since, it's not a great video, but one day I may redo that. Maybe it's like a 5th anniversary of the YouTube channel type of thing or something. Which, I mean, that can't be too many years off. I started doing this a long fucking time ago and I still don't have an audience. Which is a shame. At the very least, people seem to like the Bubsy video that I did recently, so that's cool. I feel happy about that. Yeah, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk about this stuff while I don't have a whole lot of people talking. Because I feel weird talking about my own content. Anyway, we need a different key from what we have in order to move on here. The layout of this place is slightly confusing. We'll figure it out sooner rather than later. Or perhaps later rather than sooner. I don't know. Ugh. Really feels like the AI has gotten worse throughout this entire game, by the way. I'm really feeling like nobody in my party is contributing whatsoever right now. And it's kind of bizarre. You know, those are just 2 studs in the ground. That confused me. Oh, big yikes. Fuck. Grounds are inside the... God. Why couldn't you tell me this sooner? Oh, okay. I'm not happy about this. Although I guess now the planet really is looking a little bit more like Dezoris than usual. Considering the naming and everything. Catch up, Doctor. No, I said cat's up, Doctor. No, that's not a good joke. Alright, so is this where we start the trial? I don't wanna... At the very least, we're at a point where most of these enemies go down pretty easily. Granted, I don't have a fire weapon on hand or any fire element shot abilities because I don't plan for these things very well. So that's going to complicate matters a little bit, but it does mean that at the very least, when we are inevitably forced into a mission here, well, that's okay. Go get some rest. I'm probably going to be very displeased with this entire section for a fair bit, so it may not be fun for anybody anyway. When we do inevitably get a mission here, we should have a semi-realistic chance of being able to S-rank this. Because I want another chance at being able to get Karen's unique ability, because I don't think we have that. And again, I did say that I would like to try and show off as much of this as possible, and that would be a big step forward. Otherwise, we'd have to loop the Chapter 12 missions a bit. Blue, I'm carrying a spear. I don't understand this concept of one at a time, really. Like, my loadout is very heavy on things that can be anti-group, basically. So we've got all of those. Let me look at my map. I'm glad this isn't part of it, because... yeah, we go back now, I think? This layout sucks. Yeah, that auto regen, by the way, is fucking nuts. We gained all that back in, like, a few seconds. Like, it takes, like, 5 seconds to get 100 health back or something, which, you know, that would be a lot of waiting around if your health bar was basically empty, but in our condition, that's just the freest of real estate. It may no longer be prudent to carry dimates even, just, like, have trimates only. I'd say scape dolls only, but I don't know a consistent way to get those. Yes, okay, Gerald Robotnik. Well, here's a healing station in the middle of the level. Alright, come on, Tom Rain. Move your ass. Did you move your ass enough to... Tommy? No, no, Tommy Two-Tone isn't close enough. Alright, let's bug. Let's bug snacks even. Bug snacks, I believe, is on sale right now. If I recall correctly. Ooh, this thing is Dark Element. I could probably get out the machine gun and start trimming it down to size a little bit here. Nice. Incidentally, have we, like, gained any levels for Rising Fury yet? I don't think we have. Yikes. Something's shooting me. Yeah, we haven't. And we're only at 40% experience with it. Jeez. Us. Christ. That is needless. I mean, we're not exactly doing much with this particular weapon anyway, but still. That's unnecessary, as I've alluded to. By the way, I believe Megid is actually causing confusion. Unless that's an effect of Rising Fury, which is a possibility. But yeah, it says that Megid has a chance to cause instant death, which I don't doubt, but I imagine it's very small. That said, good on them for making sure that Megid actually deals, like, actual damage instead of just being an instant death spell. Because way back in PSO Classic, Megid was literally just you can insta-kill an enemy if you happen to have a strong enough Megid and get lucky. Because the way Megid's percentage chance of working was calculated was basically that it's a certain percentage per level of approximately 3% bonus chance of working per level, if I recall correctly. Such that the chance reaches 100 once it's level 30, which level 30 Megid is obscenely rare to get a disc for. And spells don't level up the way... You know, spells and techniques do not level up the way they do in this game, where it's just prolonged usage will get you there. So you had to get Megid level 30 for it to be guaranteed to do anything. And then, even that's not a guarantee because the chance is reduced by 1% per point of dark element resistance that the enemy has. Which means that most of the time you would need level 30 Megid to have a very standard RPG-ish type of percentage of landing instant death of like 35% or something against most enemies. And it costs you mana and was slow, and if anything blocked it, then that's it. Your spell did nothing more. Outside of a few classes and equipment that gave you Piercing Megid, which was considered to not be a strong enough benefit to make things like the Demonic Fork high tier. I will be back in just a moment. Okay, everybody, I am back. Apologies for the delay. Very sincere apologies for that delay. Let's go and figure out what direction we're going here. I'm still waiting for that trial to begin, and how displeased I will be. Oh boy, will it be a lot. Because fucking yikes. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. We have almost no shots of Rising Fury right now, and if it's going to block, that's going to make them even less useful. At least I think that's an actual blocking stance, or maybe it just looks like it. And we've got almost nothing left in Bone Dance. Oh wow, Dust Dog us at level 25. Holy butts. That is really going places in the world. Again, I'm pretty sure that the max level for Photon Arts is 25, is 30. So we're getting pretty high up there in terms of stats. Oh, Vulcan, that's... A Vulcan is what we already have, I believe. No, that's... Is that one better? Did we just get an upgrade in the middle of our operation here? We sure did. Hell, not only is that an upgrade, that is also a PP refill. Speaking of which, let me take a sip of water here. God, it tastes like it's from the sink. Probably because it is from the sink. I should have gone downstairs and gotten, like, decent water out of the thing on the fridge. Don't do what I do, kids. If you see me do anything on the stream, 1, no you didn't. 2, don't copy it, for the love of God. Okay, you know what, Dr. Tom Rain, I should not be trying to get you to heal because you're a dumbass. But let's do it anyway. Karen, get over here! Would Dogi's mana transfer destroy your brain too? Shit. Ugh. Wait a second, where do I get the... Ah, here we go. We just haven't been in this room yet. Okay. I thought we had, for whatever reason. And see, unfortunately, Karen got comboed to death the way that we got a couple of missions ago. I forget when that was, but I think that was the time we got a game over. No, The game overs were in that one mission in the seed base. That's right. Ew. I remembered that now. Ew, that place sucks. Oh, that launch. I love seeing that massive launch at the end of Dust August. That makes me feel so good. Watching these enemies get hucked all the way across the room. Even and perhaps especially when they die. Alright, we are out of energy on that thing. We could photon charge it, but I'm going to try to reserve those for a time when our times are desperate. We're not quite there yet. Although I don't envy myself right now, that's for fucking sure. Alright, in we go, in we go, in we go. Let's keep it moving. Alright, that needs key lock number 1. Thankfully, it's only a one-piecer. Although I see it's in the middle of a maze type of situation. Actually, this isn't really a maze. It's just up here, right? Or am I about to find out that it's blocked in some other creative way? Air quotes, creative. Is there creativity in this section of the game at all? Actually, this is all reminding me, I don't think we've seen any sort of seed issues on Moatube. And I don't know if they ever will come up. I do not remember. I do not believe they do. And we just summoned an ambush party behind us. And speaking of parties, half of mine is missing! Alright, Tomren, shoot better. Come on. Well, I see I almost called her Lulu. Lou at least popped in nicely. Meanwhile, Karen is just kind of trapped, I guess. Well, so much for that. Well, I thought I saw some blue arrow there, but I'm not correct, apparently. Nope, she's back. Never mind. What a comedy of errors. Well, okay, calling it a comedy is a bit of a stretch, but there's definitely errors, that's for sure. Ah! Crud. Well, at least we managed to... I think we managed to unfreeze ourselves with button mashing. You getting tired already, Karen? It's not good for you? That's okay. If I had come here with fire magic, that would have been a lot smarter, but... Obviously, going back to the city is a bit of a non-thing. Yeah, it's amazing just how much of a different person Karen has become since becoming the maiden. Like, her personality has completely changed. So, I don't know what happened in that regard, but, like, you know, I guess I can understand it being a little different, but it's so drastic. It's so weird. We've only not seen her for like a month or something, and she is completely different. Kind of frightening, really, in a way. Yeah, we're full up with this thing, so... Ooh, Death Dancer. I forget what that is. I'm gonna take a look at that board real quick. That is a Twin Blades... Yeah, tier 7. So that's something that we could conceivably use. I believe that's an A rank. I'm disappointed to see that it's not a double saber, because double sabers are awesome, as we've seen. But, you know, the Twin Blades are doing good work when they come out, so if we can make that happen, that might be pretty great. That is a big might, though, because we may not be able to actually do the thing. Still, I'll give it a shot. It may be off camera and require some resetting, but we'll do some work there. Yeah, I didn't really get to finish saying it last time that it came up, but yeah, the double sabers in like the entirety of this franchise have always been really, really good. They're a really good weapon type in PSO for doing melee damage. In this game, we've seen that Tornado Dance is just absolutely rips people apart. It's probably one of our best bossing skills for anything that doesn't feel like being completely avoidant. And in PSO2, at various points, it has been one of the best weapons for various classes. In fact, I'm pretty sure even New Genesis double sabers had some pretty sick, nasty shit going on. Alright, so are we about to walk outside and suddenly seed invasion?
機材の準備に少し時間がかかるので、巫女様はここでしばらくお待ちいただけますか。
はい、わかりました。
ウェーバー君、巫女様の警護を頼むぞ。
はい。
Hey, well, he's gonna bail.
行くぞ、ルー。
はい。
Oh well. Later, fuckers. Ethan,
元気だったか?
I have a question. Do you ever get cold?
Yeah.
With the fact that your coat is half open from the bottom up?
の時はカレンと呼んでも。
わかったよ、カレン。
こうやって話せるのは久しぶりだしな。
カレンも忙しそうだもんな、ミコの仕事。
ああ、世界中を回っていろんな人たちに会ってきた。私を必要としてくれている人たちが世界中にたくさんいることが分かって、少しずつ考え方が変わってきたよ。
考えが変わった？
私は私だけのものではないということだ。そう思ったら、私とこの世界のつながりを強く感じるようになった。母も未来もなくしてずっと孤独だった私にも守るべきものがあるんだって。
守るべきもの？
イーさんは私を守ってくれるんだろう？
あ、もちろんさ。
頼んだぞ。
Nope.
くそ、来やがった。
Well, so much for the pathos. Here comes a mini boss. I am going to pull this out. I'm going to heal Karen real quick because, yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a bit of a problem if she dies, basically. Oh, are you using Megat as well, despite being light elemental? Oh, oh god. I'm out of mana. I'm tempted to scoop here and get a quick reset going. Alright, I'm out of energy for that as well. That's why I switched weapon types. Yeah, we're gonna... Oh, well. We're gonna forget about our escape doll, I guess, and... Yeah, we're gonna have to go to chapter 12 to get an S rank for this, I'm pretty sure, because there is absolutely no way they're gonna let me get an S rank with having let Karen die. That's just not gonna happen. And I want her move, but if they feel like giving me grief. I don't know what the shock status does. Does it just block you from using photon arts? Fuck. Get up. God, this thing is pretty beefy and it's healing. Alright, let's see how badly we ruined it. Oh, she's allowed to die. We got an S rank. Good abreba. I think that's just fists. Yep, so we didn't get her skill. But that's unfortunate. We're still gonna have to... We're gonna have to attempt to get it in chapter 12 or something. Alright, what's going on here, folks?
お願いします。
はい。
Oh, neat. Another different outfit. I like that headpiece. Well, yeah, we saw that in the... We see that in the intro, the episode intro, right? Yeah.
精霊が集まってくるのを感じる。
くそ、ここを見つけたのか。このままでは巫女様が危ない。原子を中止して。
やらせてください。ここでやめてしまっては来た意味がありません。グラールの人々の未来がかかっているんです。
俺が巫女様を守ります。俺がそばにいる。続けてくれ。ルー、行くぞ。
はい。
Alright, well, time for us to get another boss fight and or exploration sequence. Oh, goody, goody, goody. It's seeds, but it's fire instead of ice. Oh, are we getting a phone call from... Yikes. Alright, super ultra mega game over if we fail here, I guess. I'm curious if she knows something other than the fact that we're, like, right on top of A Photon Central here. That is the only thing that I can think of offhand that would really point to that. Are you standing in it? No, you have not stepped in it. Well, at least those are really pathetic enemies. Alright. Here we go. Here's our first Fire Seed Core. See another target over there, but... Alright, so if Blue wants to deal with that, that's good. Alright. Blue, you are... Blue is astoundingly competent, really, when it comes to this. Because I can't get anybody to do shit with these. Like, they just have a staunch code of do not interact, apparently. The fourth target is going to be over there. We're full up on moon atomizers. Dang. Well, we are 1 for 6. Oh, piss on you, game. Where else do we go? Oh, here we go. This is an area I haven't been yet. This would be a really good time for me to be able to access the menu with the controller, but apparently not. Because it would be nice to be able to turn the map on and off. Because, of course, you can't do actions while the map is out. So, Ethan, get in close. Stop goofing off, you goof. We're in for it now. Ouch. Alright, well... Blue is dead. That's unfortunate. But it is what it is. This is not a case where I feel particularly pressed for time, because we don't lose access to her at any point in the story. If we want to get her S-rank technique, which I'm like, wait a second, does she have one? Because I've done a lot of... Stop it! You fuck! Jesus! Stun locks. Anyway, I've done a lot of S-rank free quests with her, and I haven't gotten a skill. So, it could be that she doesn't have one. Even then, would it actually be any better than Tornado Dance? I mean, come on. Tornado Dance is just really sick. The damage it deals... Oh, I love it a lot. No item. Dang. Dang. Right, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, I'm on fire. What'd I get burned by? Ah, whatever. Tornado Dance is level 13 now. That's nice. Alright, so we're going to switch to this. We don't have any tech available to us, but we do have that. And we'll try shooting the Seed Vitus a little bit. If we can't at least chisel its HP down a little bit. You know what would be good would be if I could gain... Yeah, there we go. I was going to say if I could gain a level with Rising Fury, and eventually it happened. Unfortunately, holy crap, that takes forever to gain levels. I say if you can get stunned would be great, but no, it died instead. That's even better. Here's another one. All right. You deal with that for now. Fuck, the fireballs are too many. Oh, I am in super mega danger here. Alright. On animation lock, let's heal. Yeah, this is a place I can't rely on the regen right now when I'm under this much fire. And on this much fire, for that matter. Alright, careful of the liquid pool, because... Yeah. Alright, scramble up, motherfucker. Alright, Lou, target the other one. If only the AI knew how to, like, spread out from you any, but they pointedly just do not. Alright, we're 2 out of 6. To quote the late philosopher Meatloaf, that ain't bad. Wait. Fuck! He said 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Never mind. We're a long way from home. God, and we've been in here 8 minutes, too. So much for me thinking this would be, like, a reasonable length of time. There's key number 3. We're back. We're back. Alright. Will this lead to the next area? I would love if these seed chunks would be a little more bunched up for us. Unfortunately, I can't get none of what I want most of the time here. I say, are these things lightning elemental now? No, they're fire. It's just that... Yeah, that's just using its default skin, I think. Alright, so here's where we do a quick goggle scan, just to be sure. Right. Hit it! Fuck you, Lou. You're out of the gang. Oh, you actually did it. Never mind. You're back in the gang. I'm sorry. I'm just used to people not being good at things in this team. Hey, you know what? Let's spend a Star Atomizer real quick. And pick one back up. Grab the key, and go in deeper. We're at 3 out of 6, so in theory we should be half done with this mission, right? Right? Why are y'all laughing? Shut up. I don't appreciate it. That's mean. Oh, good. Another one of these, huh? And the mini-boss already being degraded, huh? Ow. Using ice attacks? What? Why? Fuck! Unfreeze! Stop healing! Please! Like, these fights need to be longer, right? Wow, this thing is just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at me. Got fire, it's using Diga, it's got heal. It had a heal anyway. Lightning moves, ice. Jeez. Die already! Fucking hell. That is an unnecessarily sturdy enemy. Jesus. We literally just fought that fucker as a boss. Alright, Lou, do you want to, like, maybe get with the program here and start dealing with these things? Alright, so we got 2 there. I'm gonna have to deal with this myself. Lou, there's one literally right behind you. I see your Wi-Fi signal ran out. On your connection to your brain or something. There we go. Number 4. Competent ass party members. Ugh. 2, 3. Alright. We are at 4 out of 6. Only 2 more to go. Only 2 more to go. And that's when we find out that some serious bullshit is up, probably. And now I don't know where to go, because there's 2 red doors on the map. Good. Thankfully, it was the easy and direct choice. Ow! Alright, here we go. Time to at least start before any of the enemies pour in. Oh, no monsters in this one, huh? Alright, Lou, can you go after the... Lou, this is your last chance to not fuck it up. Target? Sheesh. Why is the AI so bad in this game? Did nobody playtest this? Did nobody think, hey, maybe we should do this a little better? Put this one back in the oven, it's not finished yet? Sheesh. Fucking. Crying out. Fucking. Oh, boy. Poke, poke, poke. Turn around. That's not the one I was looking to poke, but that'll do. Oh, good! We got another one of these fucking assholes! Hooray! We're at level 48. Hey, how do robots get poisoned? Semi-serious question. At the very least, in the original PSO, casts could not be affected by poison or a lot of the other hard status effects. And by that, I mean poison and paralysis only, I think. But still, that's more than 0. They eventually changed that for balance reasons in later games. Alright, Lou, come over here and get healed. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Deactivate the lock and into the last area. This should be... Well, it's laid out very simply, at least. I'm sure that we're going to get horrible nightmare spawns in a moment. Possibly even ending at 2 of those mini-bosses. Lou? It's right there. Dumbass. Alright, now where's the bullshit that fucks with us in the middle of me handling this? There we go. 6 out of 6. We're done. Now we move to cutscenes, right? Show me potato salad. Oh, not that many cutscenes, okay. That's going forward. Okay, well. If you want me to do more of this, alright. This is where we're going to run into the ice seeds that were a thing that were mentioned. Oh, hi, Bruce. Oh, that doesn't feel like it's good news. No, I think it is very much part of his concern at this point. Alright, what do you got for sale, Chief? You've got a lot of stuff that we've already determined is not really of much use to us, but you do have these. So let's go ahead and tank our fucking bank accounts right now by filling up on those, and by tank our fucking bank accounts, I apparently am way overselling it. I'd like to take a quick look at this. That looks pretty mediocre. I mean, I guess there's plenty of stuff we could sell if we wanted to, but we'll handle all that later. Alright. Lou, get healed up, please. You might need that, like, 2 HP. It might end up saving our butts here, because I don't have Escape Doll anymore, and we're probably about to go toe-to-toe with something incredibly nasty. Yeah, see, I had a bad feeling here. This is not something we should probably be seeing here as a thing. Why are we dealing with Endrum Collective Machinery? This is not what I was expecting to happen, actually, with this, plot-wise. Yet. I don't know if it'll continue to, you know, shake out in the direction that I was thinking it would for plot, but at the point we're at, I was expecting that we would find out that somehow Kurtz has, like, gained access to something that lets him, you know, some sort of A-photon thing that he would obviously be using to control Seed, using information that he probably shouldn't know at this point, but maybe he would, and, you know, using that as an excuse to firebomb the area because he's a filthy fucking racist. Alright, pull out Boner Dance again. Actually, I should probably just be using the rifle. Oh, that's a big boy. That's degraded mini-boss is what that is. You can say, yeah, with that thing, I feel fairly safe being able to out-heal that with the safety heart, at the very least, so there's that going for us. Well, at the very least, I'm glad that so far they didn't decide to put us through a mission of dealing with the ice seeds, because those seem to be incredibly janky, even compared to this. Oh, what? It's Phazon Zombie Magashi? We're gonna find out that he's a copycat too, right? Oh, no, he's just a Phazon zombie now. Okay. Okay. Okay! Apologies for your ears, except not really. You gotta put at least some blame on Sega's poor sound balancing. Lou, did you have, like, an actual line there that was cut off because of your, combat, air quotes, advice? Yeah, he inflicted gelling on us. That's slightly irritating. But every enemy in the game seems to just deal random stat down status effects, even when it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm stunned. Fuck. And I'm affected by Zalura as well. That's not good. Fuck. Alright, come on. Hit him harder. And see, we're not even under Gelin anymore, so we should be able to do good damage. And unfortunately, we're afflicted with Zondiel, so that sucks. Fuck. Unstun. God, he is a nasty bastard, isn't he? Get the fuck out of here. God, that piling up laughing thing kind of reminded me a lot of the things that go on with the voice clips in King Boom Boo's boss fight in Sonic Adventure 2. TE/PP generate. That sounds like a pretty solid unit depending on where it goes. I'm pretty sure that's a unit anyway. Hunter is up to level 9. We're pretty close to max level on the class, so that's pretty great. I feel good about that. I enjoy that his mouth doesn't move when he's doing shit, by the way, when he's trying to yell at us. Alright, so let's get on with this. And oh, I see, there's a bot. Well, buddy, just so you know what we do with bots around here. It's hard to say for sure, but, I mean, it could be. He does seem to have a lot of A-Photon-related stuff, so, I mean, it is very possible, rather. Meanwhile, there's the whole situation of why would they do that if it's like, hey, it'll destroy the world? That seems like a bad thing to want to align yourself with like that.
Got it.
Alright, so we're just going under the apprehension that we're safe. And this is where we find out we don't know shit. Ooh, cutscene, and it's got some pretty good-looking graphics compared to the rest of the game, so this one might be completely pre-rendered. And not even like an in-engine thing.
素晴らしい。全てのデータが取れた。
期待以上の成果です。もう終了して結構です。
頑張ったなカレン。ありがとう。カレン。おお。カレン。カレン。
イーさん、役に立ててよかった。
おい、しっかりしろ。
ミレイは喜んでくれるよね。
ああ、もちろんだよ。カレン。カレン。
Well, I mean, we knew that was going to happen, so... Yeah, we've heard this song already. Skip to the
つい
trailer
に
for
間
the
近に
next
迫っ
part.
たゴーの時、元部の封印装置の防衛任務に就いたイーサンたちは戦闘でボロボロになったカーツに遭遇する。互いに反発し合う同盟軍との共同作戦の中、封印を成功させることはできるのか。次回ファンタシースターユニバースゴーの時、君の守るべきものは何だ。
Okay, I don't 100% know what's going to happen, but it looks like it's going to be pretty big. Let's save.
それは遥か遠いところのお話。母なる太陽と3つの惑星を持つ。
Yeah, skip to things.
グラールチャンネル5ヘッドラインニュースキャスターの春です。今日のニュースをピックアップ。ガーディアンズ本部は今日ニューデイズの封印装置が見つかったことを明らかにしました。現在復旧作業が急ピッチで進められており、ガーディアンズおよび同盟軍が総出で警戒に当たっています。続いてのニュースです。ローグスの海賊が指名手配されました。同盟軍の調査委員会はエンドラム機関と闇取引をしていたとしてローグスの海賊アルフォード・タイラーを指名手配しました。エンドラム機関にネリクスから盗んだものを売り渡していた疑いです。タイラー一味は最近姿を消しており、現在も消息は不明です。今日のグラールチャンネル5ヘッドラインニュースはここまで。ニュースキャスターは春でした。バイバイ。
カレン。
やはりこうなってしまったか。巫女様を渡していただこう。ウェーバー殿。もう巫女様に会わないでいただきたい。
Ooh, boy. Tell us anything. Yeah. I think that's probably information that they need to be a little careful with. let's store everything. I want to see how bad that Death Dancer is to make. Alright, so our odds of success are 76%. We need 5 Kerselines, and we only have 2. We need 30 of a Photon item. We need 5 Par Ebon. We need 1 more Stelnium. I don't think that's necessarily too hard to do. Metal conversion. Well, I guess it wouldn't be if we had the appropriate boards and everything. Well, whatever. We will deal with that in a bit. It's time to go talk. Well, first we cube. Oh, hey, kid. Did you figure out how to hold a gun? Oh, we thought you knew also. Did they not put up like a sign somewhere? I say just keep practicing, kids. Kid. Singular kid. Alright, let's go talk to El Beardo here.
E さん、ニューデイズでは大変でしたね。
ああ。E さんも来たようじゃから任務を説明しよう。まずガーディアンズコロニーからトムレイン博士を元部の封印装置まで連れて行ってもらう。その後はゴーの時に備えて封印装置の防衛をするんじゃ。
ゴーの時？
わしらに残された最後の手段じゃ。シードを異空間へ追いやるために3つの封印装置を同時に起動させる。それがゴーの時なのじゃ。これに失敗すればこのグラールの文明はシードに滅亡させられてしまうじゃろう。パルム、ニューデイズ、元部の各惑星の装置の防衛にはガーディアンズ総動員で当たる。いいな。
ネイブ先生、
なんじゃ、マヤか。
援軍をお願いしたいのです。
すまんが今は無理じゃ。
タラギ教授の居場所が分かったんです。軌道外の小天体に囚われているようなんです。
なんじゃと？
画像を送ります。最近グラール太陽系の軌道外に発見された小天体です。
That looks alive.
教授の発信機からの信号を受信しました。一体何があるのか分かりません。誰か一人だけでも応援をいただけないでしょうか。
俺が行きますよ。
ここは僕が行きます。
ヒューガ。
イーさんはマヤさんにトムレイン博士を手伝ってって言われたでしょ。レオさんたちとしっかり封印装置を守ってください。
ヒューガ。
いいですか、先生。
しょうがない。マヤを手伝ってやれ。そういうことじゃマヤ。こちらもゴーの時を前にして人手が足らん。すまんがヒューガと2人で何とかしてくれ。
助かります、ネーブ先生。ありがとうございました。
ヒューガ、マヤさんを頼んだぞ。
ええ、任せてください。では行ってきます。
His voice tracks and everything seem a little bit messed up. The subtitling is fine, but like when he's speaking compared to the mouth flaps and everything are a little goofed. Alright. Uh-oh. Alright, let's find out what's the deal here.
ご苦労だったウェーバー君。早速ルツ精霊市長から抗議が来たよ。
すいません。
お前が気にすることはない。謝
Oh,
罪するの
that
は
typo.
私の仕事だ。
Nice job,
ミコ
patchmakers.
様。
命に別状はないそうだ。それだけ伝えておきたかったんだ。これで安心して元部の任務に就けるだろう。どうした？
Been having these horrible dreams, right, buddy?
カレンを、いや、ミコ様を守りきることができませんでした。
生きて戻ることができたんだ。十分だろう。ミコもそれぐらいのリスクは覚悟していたはずだ。お前はやれるだけのことをやったんだよ。
しかし、
イーソン、お前が守るべきものは何だ？
守るべき。
I fight for my friends. Wait, wrong series. Never mind.
カレンが守ろうとしたものが何だったのかを考えてみろ。
What am I fighting for? Also wrong series, but a little closer this
ここ
time.
で封印装置を守らねばシードには勝てん。今を乗り越えなければ明日は来
I'm
ない。
in no condition to push to a higher pitch.
行け、イーソン・ウェーバー。
はい。
Alright. We got our marching orders. Let's drop down planet side. And I think we're going to have to talk to the boys at the Motube facility. But I want to do a quick shop check and then take the rest of the evening to wonder just how painful this shit's going to be. Because I'm sure this is going to be a big, big yikes. Alright, Chief, you gotta... Yeah, everybody's in the waiting room. Meeting room. They're all having coffee. Like, damn, you're slow, kid! Yeah, see, it all looks like they were about to be embarking on a whole conversation before Ethan walked in. Oh boy, the Alliance military. I don't feel good about that. Alright, we need Leo and Tonio in the party. But before that becomes a thing that... You know what? I guess I will do that right now. Leo. Tonio. Let's get going. And now to go check the shops. I'm fairly certain that we're not going to see a ton of new equipment right now, but it's worth a look. And again, we are getting pretty damn deep into the game. So with a little bit of luck, we will be getting pretty close to getting what we want out of this, some really good equipment, but that... again, may not necessarily even be the case. I'm just hopeful at this point. Alright. What you got for me? You got anything good looking? Well, you're certainly not toting a ton of S ranks yet, so... we've got an improved Yeah, that spear is just better all around except for accuracy. So that's going in right now. No better saber or double saber for that matter. There's not going to be any new tech discs that are going to be of any real import. Oh, there's new dark techs that we can look at. We saw abilities by giving up a large amount of HP. Megastar could be pretty strong if we just start chucking that around at the right time. Megaverse. Damages and steals HP based on the length of the button input and PP spent. That one is going to be our other new one here. Rentis. What's this? Creates a field that reduces damage from tech attacks. Meh. Everything else we've seen at this point. Dizos, we have that in our inventory. We have it in our storage, rather. And yeah, you can see that everything else is just the same as usual. Take a look at our armor options. If something is good for defense, that might be a fair choice. We got Giga Stamina here. This is just 6 stamina. Yeah. I think Electro Heart is actually just a better version of that. Alright, Rebel Tarot. That has dark defense. I'm gonna hold off on grabbing that though until we check the other options. After all, there might be something better that lets us retain our arm parts. And that would be preferable by a nice chunk of chunks. You ever just chunks and then more chunks? I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just enjoying saying the word chunks now for some reason. Alright. Weaponry, what do you got for us? Dual Slasher still the best there. Durandal, meh. So, it looks like the Falcon is... Well, there's a Vulcan there too, but we don't need the Vulcan. Let's sell those. Let's sell the Gatling. And actually, let me remember to equip that new spear while I'm here. At Dust Daggers. You can see we are at a great level with that in terms of EXP. It levels up so fast, it does so much damage. It's just super, super good. No tech discs to check out. Armor, what do you got for us? Well, alright, so there's Tarot Line. This thing is stronger. That has some electric defense. Has arm and extra slot. What's our other... Do we have any other extra slots going on here? We've got a Mega Stamina. This is just the same thing, but worse. So... I feel like our strat for now is going to be grabbing the Tarot Line and using that and keeping the safety heart and everything going for a bit. Alright, equip. I mean, again, remembering that we're using our techniques as a special... What's this do, actually? Special effects, PP recovery speed up. What was I saying before? That's actually a much better extra unit. Fuck the health regen. I can live without that. The PP regeneration. And you can tell that that shit's good because it's like 20 grand more to sell than our health regen unit is, which is one of those things that's just ridiculously strong. It's just ridiculously strong. Alright, so you are selling the ingredients. Do you have any boards that are of particular use to us? The hard line. Okay, so aside from the fact this typo here for Cursaline being misspelled is a thing that was originally an issue in the PS2 version too, so that's real amazing. I've been informed that you can't craft that yet, despite appearances. There's Marceline to Uptoline. So it looks like Curseline is legitimately a drop-only thing. So if we wanted to get that Death Dancer weapon going, we can't. We would have to go grind for that shit. And let me tell you, that really doesn't make me happy. However, I suppose I could try doing it off stream. But again, you've all seen how good I am about remembering to do that. Maybe I'll actually remember to do it this time. Alright, Nudez, show me something good in Yome's shop, please. I need something here. And I'm not gonna get it, am I? Oh, this gun might be better. No, this gun is the equivalent to that one, so meh. Yeah, this Palasra, this is going to be equivalent to... It's going to be lesser than that. Amazing. Well, game, you done goofed me. That's all I can say. Alright, well. With all that done, we go back to Planet Motube and we save... Actually, I'm just going to save wherever is closest. Which in this case would be here, which actually is probably good, because I think we're going to be... whenever I do offline stuff for this, I'm probably going to be grinding missions on this planet. Alright, cube. No cube. Alright, save. And there we go. We are 20 hours deep into this. Wow, we've been playing this for a while.